So today we're going to review how to implement the withdrawal form from the contract. We are going to go through what the requirements are. We are going to go through how we have developed functionality on AB Commerce to ensure that you on your website are going to be compliant. And then we're going to go through what the exceptions for this directive are, and then finish it off by going through what the next steps are for you as a retailer and what you need to do to get this going on your website. And so if you can see all there, make sure that this is sharing. Okay, so what the key requirements are. So retailers, for this EU withdrawal, what it is. So it means basically that the EU customers will have the legal right to cancel any online purchase just on the reason that they've changed their mind and they don't want it. They will have 14 days from the moment that they've received their item to make this decision and to submit this request to you. And as the retailer, you will have to approve this request within the 14 days and refund that order. So what are the requirements of this new directive? So the first one is that retailers must clearly disclose withdrawal rights, conditions, and deadlines before the contract is concluded. So this means at the checkout, the customer must be presented with the return conditions before they submit their order. This can either be done through your terms and conditions, which your customers already need to accept before they can process the order, or you can implement a little piece of text at the checkout where it basically says, as the customer, if you decide you don't want this order item anymore, you have 14 days to submit your return request and you will have to pay the refund, or you will have to pay for the return costs. The withdrawal form provisions. So this means that there has to be a standard withdrawal form provided to customers, and it needs to be in a permanent fixture on your website. This is what we're going to go through today. This is the functionality that we've developed on the platform for you. And I want to go through with you how the customer is going to use it, and then how you, the retailer, are going to have it on your website as well. We then want to go through, so another requirement is the 14-day cooling off period. One of the main points with this is that it's 14 days from the moment that the customer receives the item, not from the moment that the customer makes their order. So it is about, I'd say, 16 to 18 days all in all that the customer has to decide that they no longer want this item. And the refund obligations. So this is where retailers must reimburse all payments, including delivery costs, within 14 days of receiving the withdrawal notice. So let's dive in. So the withdrawal process and what's a step-by-step overview. So first of all, the customer has to submit their notification. They've realized that they either got their item and I don't want it anymore, or maybe they woke up the next morning and were filled with regret from everything they ordered the night before. So they can then go onto your website, find where the request withdrawal button is, click on that, and then submit their request. Once you have received your request, it's then up to you, the retailer, to review the order. If it has just been an order that was made, then it's probably not fulfilled yet, so it's more of a cancellation and nothing has to be returned and might still be sitting in your new orders. Then from when you've received the notification, if it's an item that you've sent out already, if it's already gone out in the post, the customer is then obligated to return the item to you, to send it back to you. And once you've received the item, you need to make sure that you're processing the refund for them. And sorry, just on that, so the merchant or the retailer will have to refund the order within 14 days of receiving the notification. Right, so how does this look like on AB Commerce? So we have developed this functionality for you um, to allow the customer to have a form with minimal data entry that they don't have to sign in to access. So this widget, if you contact Help Desk, we can pop this onto wherever you'd like on your website. We'd recommend that you have it either on your returns page, your terms and conditions page, or at the end of your homepage, wherever it is, it has to be somewhere very easy for the customer to find, and it has to be in a permanent fixture as well. So the customer will find the button, and it will outline what the EU right withdrawal means. Then, once they click on this button here, they'll be brought to this form, and you will see that there is minimal data entry. The customer isn't signing into an account or anything, they're just clicking on the button. From here, they need to enter their email address that is associated with the order and the order confirmation number that they would have received from their order confirmation emails. From here, you will then see, the customer will then see their order that they have made. So they can click on the item and how many of these items that they want to return. So if there was more than one item in their order, all of the items will be presented and they can review each of them and decide, I want to refund or I want to return that item, but not that item. So they'll select the quantity to return and then they'll select their reasons. So these reasons here, so they changed my mind, no longer wanted. That's the main reason that you will need to have there. That's part of the new directive so that the customer can decide, just tell you, I don't want it, I changed my mind. So that one will have to stay in there. But the rest of the reasons, the item was faulty, incorrect item received, item arrived too late, and other. These are all the other reasons that could be why a customer wants to return an item, and the system will default to these 5 reasons. If there's anything that you want swapped in or added in, please let us know and we can change these reasons around. Again, as I said, the only one that we'll have to keep in there is to change my mind, no longer wanted, but we can add or remove any other reasons that you'd like. When you're getting this set up, just let Help Desk know what other reasons you'd like or what ones you'd like removed. So once they've selected their reasons, changed my mind, no longer wanted, they will then select the return the selected items button. Now, the most important thing to note here that this is just a request. It's not automated, so it's not going to immediately process a return or a refund. It's just going to let you know, the retailer, that someone has requested that they want to return their item. And it's up to you then whether or not it can be approved or not. So they've submitted their refund or the return and they are presented then with this screen and this message, which says our team is verifying your order details against our standard return withdrawal eligibility criteria. We will email you at your email with a confirmation receipt of this request. Please check your spam folder. Further detail on how to return an item can be found on our returns policy page. So they'll see that, and then they'll also be sent an immediate email with the notification and a timestamp that their request has been submitted. And again, just reiterating the same message, it's telling the customer that if they have received their item, that they will need to review your returns policy page to understand how to return the item. So once you have done that, the customer will then see so that once the refund has been submitted and you've received the notification as the retailer and you have then processed the refund, you have approved the refund in your own back end, then the customer will receive this notification to say, thank you for sending back your items. We have processed your refund and you should get it within the next few days to the same payment method that you used during purchase. So that's how the customer is going to see it. And next I want to walk you through how you, the retailer, are going to see it. So the first screen is, this is going to be if a customer cancelled their order or submitted a refund request when the item was still, it had just been processed. So once the order had just been processed, so nobody's fulfilled it, nobody's sent it out, it's sitting in your new orders. And you will receive an email, like your order confirmation emails, you will receive a notification, but a lot of the time the team down in the that are fulfilling the orders will not be seeing those notifications. So the order will be flagged here and it will say that there's a return request submitted. This will then prompt you to look at the return request screen so that you can approve it, review it, and then request that the customer sends back your items. So under orders in the top navigation, and then you can go down to returns and you will see this screen here. And this screen will show you all of the order requests that have been submitted to you. You'll see the pending requests, the approved requests, and then the rejected requests as well. From here, you will then click on the order that you are looking to review or the refund that you're looking to review. And similar to what the customer sees, you'll see the full order that the customer has made and then the items and the reasons that they want to request a return. So first of all, you'll see that they want to request one, you will approve the refund by putting in the quantity to return. Obviously, you'll need to make sure that if it's an item that you are waiting for back, that you want to either get notification from the customer that they have sent the item back or that you've actually received the item yourself. So once you've had either of these, then you can go ahead and process that and approve that refund. So once you've received that, then you will need to go to your payment provider, click on go to your payment provider, find the order, and then refund it there. And don't forget, it's also a requirement that you will have to pay the delivery costs that the customer paid to get the items sent to them initially. Now, the returns cost is separate. As I said, you will need to have this noted in your terms and conditions to let the customers know that they will have to pay what the cost is to return an item. If you don't have that well listed, then the customer does not have to pay for returning the items either. So there are exceptions to this rule. So the first exception is the seals, that if the item has a sealed good, that it still needs to be sealed. And if it has been tarnished or if it's been opened in any way, then this will affect their right to a full refund. If it is a perishable item, so anything that goes off, food, flowers, anything like that, then it's not part of this withdrawal request. If it's a custom product, so something that's been embroidered or engraved or custom made for a certain person, then again, it does not fall into the same eligibility criteria. And if it's digital content that's already been accessed or downloaded by the customer, then again, this waives their right to a withdrawal. So what are the next steps for you as the retailer to implement this into your day-to-day? So first of all, you can contact us here at Help Desk to let us know that you want to get this set up on your website. We will activate the returns. We will add a BCC email address that you wish for so that the returns emails are sent there. And if there's any return reasons that you want changed, we can pop them in as well. We can also pop in the withdrawal request button and get that all set up for you too. So yeah, the withdrawal form. So we will add that once you decide that you want this on your site. We'll pop that whether it's on your returns page or your home page, let us know. So the terms and conditions, I've referenced this. Just make sure that this is updated with all of this information about the withdrawal request, what your return costs are, and make sure that it's really clearly visible to the customer so that when they are accepting the terms and conditions, it's one of the first things that they see. And then finally, then to make sure that you're training your customer service so that everyone in store is comfortable with the process, that you yourself as the retailer that you've reviewed. So, we can go through all the functionality with you, but we're not legal experts. So we would still implore everyone to go have a look at this directive themselves and understand all of the different terms and conditions within it, to make sure that you are remaining compliant. So contact the help desk to get us to set it up for you. You can return your policies and returns forms and pre-contract information. And then also, most importantly, once we get this set up for you, do a test run of everything. So pretend to be a customer, do a test order. then return that item, go through the returns process as the customer, and then from the retailer, then make sure that you're comfortable with processing the refund, going onto your ERP, sending back the stock, and just that you're getting all the correct emails and that everything is working okay for you. So, and lastly, then, that's everything today. Thanks everyone for waiting. Well, I had some technical issues, and I'm sorry that everyone had some issues getting in. But was there any questions, or is there anything then that anyone has any queries on? Everyone okay, or is anything I can answer for anyone? If anyone does want this set up on their website, and if this is something that you want to look into more, I'm happy to go through this with any of you, like on a separate call, if you want me to maybe get it set up with you and go through the whole process again, one-to-one. I'm happy to do that. Please just send me an email and let me know. Any other questions, again, we are available at our help desk, so we can answer any other questions that you have. And yeah. So if no one has any other questions, then we can finish up here. Okay. Thanks, everyone, and have a great day.